Hey everybody, welcome back. Cat hair. I wonder why. Um, we are getting ready to watch some more Meltdown, 3 Mile Island. It has been forever since I saw the last episode, and basically all I remember, let me see, all I remember is that the big problem happened and then there was another problem. And I think the second problem that started up that I think they were working on fixing, I don't think it's fixed yet, but basically that the one chamber, for lack of a better way of putting it, is corrupted. I can't, or corroded. I can't remember if it was rusted or just not functioning properly, but at any rate, they are having to fix that. And I don't think it's completely fixed yet. It's been 3 weeks since I watched the last episode. So that tells you how long it's been, how far behind. So I am multitasking. I haven't had to do it too much this summer because, well, I just can't record and cut watermelon at the same time. But I am going to be cutting some strawberries, so you'll see me do that. But don't worry, I can multitask. I can listen to what they're saying as I'm doing the monotonous cutting of strawberries. And anytime I think I've missed something, I do go back and rewatch that scene or re-listen to whatever it might be. And so worry not. Now, even when I am narrowed in on something watching it, I don't always catch everything. And so know that as well. So I can't remember if the last episode I was following everything or not. So we will find out if I'm caught up with everything or not. I've tried to get her out of my lap. It's not working, so she's sulking back there. You see Jojo preening right there. That is Buddy, and I think that covers everybody in view. So, all right, let's get to it. Let's see what's happening next on this. Like I said, we still have 2 more episodes, this one and the next one. So I imagine more stuff goes wrong. And I also would like to know what we've learned from this one, kind of like what we learned from Chernobyl. So, all right, here we go. There we go. This one turns off sometimes, and I don't know why. And then it sounds funny when it's turned off.
Millions of lives were at stake.
That's right. They were saying that they were basically hushed.
When I first got to nuke school, there was a sign that said, men that pass through here are about to receive a $50,000 education. And one of my
My
classmates
nephew
climbed up there
started
one
the
night and wrote, shoved up
nuclear
your butt,
engineering
but he didn't have the
program
time.
in South Carolina. Sorry, talking over it. And he started it, but then got in trouble and ended up not completing the program. But yeah, he could have gotten a good education that way.
And both my sons were born when I was in the Navy. And no, they wouldn't let me go home to see him.
He was allowed to go home to make them, but not to see them. A little twisted. I think they've gotten a little bit better about that, but I don't know for sure on that.
I would charge hell with a bucket of sand if that man was leading me, because he made the nuclear submarine world safe.
It's a lot of praise.
That was his philosophy. Every decision you made had to be responsible.
So that's now going to echo into these decisions they're making now.
And now, in the wake of TMI, utility companies have canceled plans to build 50.
Every time they say TMI, I'm making too much information. I think they say what it actually stands for, but I can't remember. And if I forgot to say, this one is called The Whistleblower. So it's about the person who blew the whistle, which I'm guessing is the guy who's narrating right now.
And so when I was presented with a golden opportunity to take part in the cleanup of the 3 Mile Island, I leaped at the opportunity
Okay.
because I could focus on
So he might not be the
future of the
whistleblower.
entire nuclear industry safe. My wife was killed in a wreck.
Oh, geez.
There was a car wreck leaving a bar one night, and she did
Truck
not
driver.
make it. I don't want to talk about it.
I don't blame you. But it does let us know his state of mind. I mean,
So that
hopefully
was it.
just delving into the
June
work and not
1980,
distracted.
Radioactivity levels are so high, 100 times the lethal dose now inside this
Oh,
container.
that's right. And
There's a massive cleanup job.
I forgot they were talking about that the radius was starting to spread and that it was higher than they expected it to be.
Then for the next year, you got to disassemble the core to put the fuel into engineered canisters and ship it off-site.
Wow, that's a long time.
Bechtel is like the 51st state, the nuclear
Everybody's
state.
got a tell in
Your
the name, doesn't
one-stop
it?
The longer the cleanup continues, it's generally agreed, the greater the chance that something else could go wrong with the plant.
Well, that just seems logical that the longer it takes, the longer more problems could occur. But you don't want to go too fast either.
I never used to question before, and now I question everything.
According to the vice president of the power
good to
company,
question.
residents have nothing to worry about.
There's not a need for concern.
You know, they said there's no need for concern, but yet they said that before building the plant. And now they've got concern. And so to be told that there's nothing to be concerned about, that's just kind of like slapping them in the face. You know, they have rights to be concerned.
They're hysterical, non-meaningful arguments.
Is the one guy going to say that they did have right to
With
be
the
concerned?
advent,
This guy that's
so
talking?
there became an impetus. Yes, they would take every shortcut they possibly could.
That's not good. I've always said
Bechtel had
when getting estimates for jobs that I've had to have done around the house and all that kind of stuff, I've told them to quote me high. I'd rather be told over the amount than under the amount. And I've also said, don't do the job as far as what is cheapest. Do the job as far as what will make it right. Because I don't want to have to pay for the job again later on down the road. So those are things I've always had as a mantra when doing work. Faster is not always better.
duct tape is good for a lot of things. You can ask any redneck; they can do anything with duct tape and baling.
Lots of uses.
But you can't stop radioactivity with it.
Yeah. I didn't think they would use literal duct tape.
The NRC says it will take at least through 84. But the two
Wow.
sides agree on one thing, the fact that the cleanup cost is soaring.
And so I went to review all the modification documentation that would have been done about the polar crane. There was none.
No documentation?
Bechtel
Or no
manager
reviews.
site.
So he's going to be the whistleblower.
And I remember he got very angry with me.
Laid into him.
We dropped the head that we could cause enough of a fracture in the reactor vessel
For it to
where
blow.
we could approach a China syndrome.
You know, with helmets, whether it's for horseback riding or motorcycles or racing your Jeep or whatever. I have a helmet from when I raced my Jeep. But my dad had horses, and it was one of those things that you learn that if there's a crack or nick or whatever in your helmet, you need to replace your helmet because the integrity of the helmet has been compromised by that crack or chip or whatever it might be. So, you know, same kind of thinking here, you know, if it doesn't blow when that accident happens, the integrity of the whole thing is compromised. So whether it does immediate damage or not is one thing, but if it does drop, at the very least, you've got to replace everything anyhow.
You would be evacuating eastern Pennsylvania, possibly all the way down to Washington, D.C.
Wow.
Those people won't have a chance. We have the potential for killing them. Period.
And so I'm guessing they were told to go ahead and go through with it, and that's what they whistleblowed on.
People were freaked out that this plant may start again.
Yeah.
Unit 1
And I said, Eric, do you hear that? He goes, yeah, Joyce, our phones are being tapped.
They're being tapped? So an illegal wiretap?
I took to him right away. He had that accent that I liked with a little twang.
My southern accent has gone away for the most part. Although it's funny because when I go up north, they go, "Oh, wow, you sound southern." Of course, here in the south, I don't sound all that southern. But when I was a little girl, before we moved up north, my accent was real strong to the point that nobody up north understood me. And so I didn't talk for 6 months. So I hear what she's saying about she liked the way he talked.
She did tell me one time was she wasn't as worried about it anymore because she knew I'd take care of them.
That made him feel guilty, didn't it?
Having the NRC watch nuclear plants is like having a fox watch the henhouse. They're not regulating the industry.
That's the problem with companies getting involved in politics.
To a psychological evaluation and not allowed to come back on the job site until he, quote unquote, passed the psychological evaluation.
Why do you need to take a psychological evaluation? I haven't heard anything that would be worth a referral to for a psychological or psychiatric evaluation.
There is a Santa Claus, but he never dropped pot in my house or my van before come Christmas time, and it wasn't Christmas time. So I took the pot in the house and flushed it.
And then somebody reported him and his van was searched.
All of my positions of authority in the reactor building polar
Were
crane were removed from me by Bechtel management. So I no longer had anything that I could stop them with. I was the
Time to
one that
move the
was
family.
danger.
Almost looks like Barb from Stranger Things.
My boss threatened to see to it that I lost custody of my kids if I ever exposed what he did.
Oh, wow.
And it happened. I lost custody of my children for a year. As a kind of document you look at and you go, somebody's going to jail for this.
Wow.
People tend to want to come after you with a little bit of hurt in their eyes.
True. Very true.
At some point early in their kind of disclosures, say, I don't want to be the next Karen Silkwood.
She was killed.
Silkwood died in a car crash on this road on her way to meet a New York Times reporter.
She had concerns about excess radiation. And when she was on her way to meet with this newspaper reporter to give proof of her allegations, she died in a car wreck. A single car wreck.
Single car wreck. Even more suspicious. When did the... we're almost done. I wonder when the Whistleblower Protection Federal Stuff Act, I guess, went into effect, because I believe there is a federal statute that protects whistleblowers. And this is these examples are probably why.
I mean, it was his loyalty to the technology that drove him. His disclosure would mean permanent.
Can't blame him on that.
In the nuclear industry.
Don't want to create false
react to whistleblowers.
panic.
They're a threat, and they have to be destroyed.
I noticed my door was slightly ajar. It was unlocked. It was
That's
open.
suspicious.
By that time, I knew the apartment was empty. No person in there. Did not
They were
appear
searching
that
for
there was anything
something.
taken.
Sometimes the scare tactics backfire and they actually get the person to do what they didn't want them to do to begin with. Something's in my eye and I've got my contacts in, and so it feels like glass. It hurts. So at any rate, there's not much to sum up. I kind of commented on it throughout, which is basically they're wanting to take shortcuts, which is never a good thing, and try to reduce costs by taking these shortcuts. And again, not a good thing. Cheaper is not always better, and it's just kind of crazy. So this next episode, I imagine what we're going to get is him going public, the public's reaction, and basically the public forcing TMI and Bechtel and all of them. I guess Bechtel is the main one they're focusing on right now, to slow down and do things right and kind of go from there. And we know that there wasn't an actual explosion or anything, so we know that things got better. But it sounds like it's going to take the public to force them to take those measures. So thank you all for joining me on this one, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.